As you enter into Peterborough Cathedral, you can easily miss the only portrait on the wall. However, as you turn to leave, you cannot miss the two images of the same individual on either side of the grand doors. Who is this gentleman? A noble? Who had such honours that one of his likeness was painted on the very stones of the cathedral itself? Well, it was no one but the gravedigger, old Scarlett himself. People are accustomed to seeing memorials of nobility and royalty, so how does one get one of a simple gravedigger? It's the 1500s. It was a turbulent century for the people of England. Under the rule of the Tudors, it saw many upheaval and unrest, but also times of prosperity. Throughout this, Peterborough Cathedral endured, and so too, it would seem, did its sexton, born Robert Scarlett. He spent his life working for the abbey and cathedral until his death and entombment in its walls. From the lofty perch, old Scarlett's portrait now endures the cathedral's history since the 1600s with the passage beneath. You see old Scarlett's picture stand on high, but at your feet here doth his body lie. His gravestone doth his age and death time show. His office by these tokens you may know. Second to none for strength and sturdy limb, a scare-babe mighty, voice with visage grim. He had interred 2 queens within this place, and this town's householders in his life's space. Twice over, but at length his own time came. What for others did for him, the same was done. No doubt his soul doth live for aye in heaven, though here his body clad in clay. What does this tell us of the old gravedigger that has become something of a local folk hero? Well, for one, we know he was the sexton of the monastery and then cathedral, which also makes him the gravedigger. It is suggested that one of his prowesses in life was burying 2 people from each household of Peterborough in his life. Nowadays that notion sounds rather far-fetched, but in the Tudor period, with high infant mortality, this is any child between birth and a minimum of 7 years of age, along with lower life expectancies than modern day, it is entirely plausible to suggest this line may be true. Compounding factors that increases the likelihood of this include a population that Peterborough would have ranged anywhere between 1,000 to 3,000, with some historians placing it at around 1,500 mark. The fact that plagues were common occurrence during many periods of time, the Tudor period included, and we have at least one record of plague on record in Peterborough in 1574, and the fact that old Scarlett somehow managed to get to the ripe old age of 98 before he passed. So once broken down, the idea he buried 2 from each household seems both very plausible and in some cases a bit small in number. It could possibly be higher. However, old Scarlett is probably more infamously known for his part in 2 events that bring the 12th century cathedral fame. The fact that at one point it held the final resting place of 2 queens, and one still remains there today. Old Scarlett being the one to inter both bodies. Scarlett's first call to burying a royal occurred in 1536, when he had a hand in burying Catherine of Aragon, the former Queen of England. Catherine was King Henry VIII's first wife before their divorce and Henry's break from Rome. Catherine was exiled from court in 1534 and passed whilst residing in the Peterborough castle, Kimbleton Castle, on the 7th of January 1536. Although Catherine had different wishes for her remains, Henry decided that she would be buried in the nearby abbey, which is where she has remained to this day. Scarlett was once more called upon to inter a monarch when he was well into his 90s. In 1587, Queen Elizabeth I had recently executed her fellow monarch, Mary Queen of Scots, and was struggling to find a final resting place. It was unwanted for the dead queen to be buried near London for fear of martyrdom and unrest. Peterborough Abbey, now a cathedral, was inevitably chosen for not only being close to Fotheringhay Castle, the location of Mary's execution, but also for having already housed a royal. Whether they viewed Catherine as a queen or the dowager princess, for this scenario's argument is unknown. Either way, Scarlett was set to work and interred the Scottish Queen on the south choir aisle opposite Catherine's tomb on the north. Mary would remain at Peterborough until her son removed her remains for reinterment at Westminster Abbey, although her original grave still remains. In 1594, the passage of time finally caught up to Robert, and after a lifetime of digging graves for others, one was dug as his own. To pay homage for the contributions he made to his community, he was interred within the cathedral itself instead of its grounds. A plaque was carved and his portrait was created. It is unknown whether the painting on the stone or the portrait in the frame came first, nor can I find any conclusive evidence of when either was made. However, what is known is on either side of the door resides identical images looking down on all who enter and exit the cathedral. With his spade and keys in hand and a skull at his feet, humble he may be compared to the nobility he entombed, but remembered fondly by the people of Peterborough, he will forever be. Thank you for watching this episode of Days of Yore and Lore. To support this channel, please share it with anyone else you think would enjoy these videos. Like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below of any subjects you would like me to look into, and I will see you all in the next video.